She lives beyond the grace of God, a wanderer in the outer darkness. She is Vampire, Scooter. These creatures do not die like the bee after the first sting, but instead grow strong and become immortal once infected by another Scooter. So, my friends, we fight not one beast, but legions that go on age after age after age, feeding on the podcasts of the living. Vampire the Masquerade. Bloodlines!
I'll never crawl again. I'll never fall again until I'm free. Here I stand in this room, caged and trapped inside. Seems I'm damned to live a lie.
Vanessa, are you hosting?
Good evening, creatures of the night. Welcome to the Midnight Sanctorium of Square Roots, the classic VPG podcast. Listeners, you asked for it, you begged for it, you bled for it, and now it's here. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
You asked for it. We're doing it begrudgingly.
That's right. I asked for it, and the rest of the hosts are doing it because I threw a little fit about wanting to play this game. Which I
feel like this was a gag you really committed to.
I've never played this game before, and I don't think that this will be the last time I play it. How about that?
Wow.
How about that for an early hot take?
You already finished the game, didn't you?
I'm very close to the end. I sort of...
Vanessa, did you write this game?
I may have, it came out in the early 2000s. We all did some questionable things back then. I very well could have written this game, and it's just been...
Were you in charge of the physics for this game?
I was in charge of the fight animation.
This is an admission of guilt, and we will use it against you in a court of law.
This game has so many jiggly boobs.
Jiggly boobs.
Who? We haven't even introduced the hosts yet, host.
Jiggly boobs,
Host.
the Masquerade.
Vanessa, who are
Yes.
we? What
Jiggle
do we do?
poofs.
Right. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. This is the show where we play a classic role-playing game one chonker at a time. It's like a book club for your ears or a let's play for your mind. I'm your host, Vanessa.
Whoa.
And I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Jimothy Banks
Blood
of...
Banks.
I go by Jugular Jim.
Jugular Jim. Jugular Jim Banks of the River of
Blood
Leith. Mathiu... Wait. Mathiu Vamp Zandt.
That's me.
Vamp Sant.
Vamp Zandt. Fire.
And Johnny Suck'em Dry Brandon.
Welcome across the river Styx, kindred.
Oh, boy.
Whoa, guys, we're all, super awkward puns about blood and veins. Ooh, spooky.
This episode so far makes me want to obfuscate for the next 5-ish episodes.
We'll get into what it is we're doing specifically, but first, we'll talk about what it is we've done broadly in
What
a
have
little
you
segment we call Level Up. Gentlemen,
Whoa.
Did we talk about what game we're playing? I don't know that the listeners picked up on it.
Yeah, it's not super. I mean, if it's not super clear, you should just stop listening.
This is a game for the sired only. So put your mortal headphones down and pick up your undead listenophones for Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
Yeah, undead listenophones.
Mm-hmm. That's what the undead have. Gentlemen, let's have a small salon before we commence with the evening's festivities. Mathiu, how did you level up?
Oh, boy. And that's how I leveled up.
Jim. We'll come back to Mathiu. He appears to be suffering from the amnesia of a newly sired child. Jim, how did you level up?
Yes, I went to an arts festival.
Jim, the Houston State Fair is not an arts festival.
It was. You know what? I went to the Texas State Fair and ate.
Jim doesn't live in Houston.
I do not live in Houston. I went to the Texas State Fair and ate chicken fried meatloaf.
Yeah.
And I ate a burnt end burrito.
Ooh.
Yum.
And I had a deep fried chicken Alfredo ball.
That sounds crazy.
And I had a fried macaroni and cheese triangle.
Okay.
Is everything different shapes?
I don't know. It just came in a triangle.
I mean, yes, John. If we really want
they
to
can
get
make
into
it whatever
it.
shape you want, John.
I hope you worked a corn dog in there. The Texas State Fair is famous for them.
I did not have a corn dog. I had a corn dog beer.
Oh, ugh.
I had a cotton candy beer.
Oh,
Ugh.
no.
I had a pickle beer.
Could be okay.
And there was one other thing I had. It was a what was it? It was a I don't remember. But it was really good.
Have we mentioned that Jim has had a few adult drinks tonight?
A few pints of blood.
I'm blood drunk.
Yes.
Ooh, I'm blood drunk. Blood drunk. John, how did you level up?
Well, I finished up hanging out with Vanessa and her family friends.
That's fake.
What?
Fake news. Moving on.
Fake news.
It's true. I'm very excited that
Someone's pouring themselves a glass of blood in the background.
I will be playing Outer Worlds on the 24th when it's part of the Game Pass on PC and Xbox Live. So that will be coming up. That's not something I have done. I played some more Destiny Iron Banner. I like that game. I'm bad at the Iron Banner. I haven't won a match yet. I'm letting my team down. I'm always last place. But, it's still fun. Sometimes you can play games you're very, very bad at. So that's been a big part of my day. What else have I done?
That's a good question.
Finished Disenchanted. That was a good season finale. Mathiu is right. Excellent season finale. And that's about it. I've been a busy boy playing games finished up the next Scare Roots game. Finished up the next Patreon Instant Classic game. So that's what I've been doing. What about... Is anyone left? Vanessa?
Vampnessa.
Sorry. Mistress Vamp Nessa.
I completed my tour of the Pacific Northwest, which was just kicking off the last time I leveled up. I went to Seattle, I went to Portland, and then I went to Twilight Country. By which I mean the actual area where the Twilight films were recorded. So that's vampire related.
You went to a famous filming location.
That's right. In Portland, I went to this restaurant called EEM.
Ooh.
It's the hottest thing in Portland at the moment. You got to get there right when the doors open because they don't take reservations. People line up outside, and it's Thai Texan barbecue.
Whoa. Wait, Texan?
Yeah, I know. It sounds crazy, right?
I'm the only one here that understands anything Texan.
Well, what I
that
understand about it...
No.
I've never even heard of Texas.
It's not a real place.
After my meal, I understand that every meat is cooked so that it just falls apart in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Like the brisket and the pork belly and the, what else did I have? Duck, I guess, and some kind of curry. They just bring dishes and dishes and dishes, and I was just lost in a realm of spices.
Ooh, can I tell you guys something? Yesterday, I went through the Texas State Fair, like arts and crafts station, and that's where they have the like homemade food stuff. Mm-hmm. And I ate cinnamon spice bear meat.
Oh,
It was good bear.
interesting.
It was gamey, but also sweet.
What kind of bear was it?
I did not ask.
I saw a bear.
Probably one of them smoky bears.
It was pretty smoky.
Yeah,
Maybe a teddy bear.
probably a sun bear. That would be my guess.
Maybe.
They're
Maybe
little. They're easy
one
to
of them.
catch and cook up.
Teddy Ruxpins. One of them gummy bears.
Ooh, it could have been. It was good. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Vanessa.
It's okay. You did remind me that I did see a bear. It was in a zoo, but it was beautiful, and I love it. I want to hug it, but it is not allowed. I did hug John a couple times. I think it made him uncomfortable, but I don't care. I love him too. I love all bears. Everywheres. That's about what I did. On the plane back, I watched Dark Phoenix, which was...
That movie sucks.
Yeah, it was not good. And then I watched Bad Times at the El Royale.
Is that a good movie?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has some very good parts, but it's got a weird structure.
Yeah, a very strange structure, which I kind of like in some ways, but it wasn't fully successful. It had some pacing issues.
Yeah.
It was a long movie. It was like 2.5 hours, and
Ooh, yikes. No movie should ever be that long.
no.
Can I tell you guys a secret?
Oh, a secret.
I love Chris Pine.
I mean,
Chris Pine is funny, and he's a good dramatic actor, and he's just a good actor.
Now, he's not in Bad Times at the El Royale.
No, he's
He
not.
definitely is.
He's definitely
Chris
not.
Pine is in that movie.
He is
no,
not
you're
in
thinking
that
of
movie.
Chris Hemsworth. A Thor is in that movie, not a Star Trek man.
Is that Chris Hemsworth?
Yes.
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 You know what? I've drank a bit. You know what? If you put a gun to my head, I would tell you Chris Pine was in that movie.
No, that was Chris Hemsworth. You're probably confused because Chris Hemsworth played Chris Pine's father in the Star Trek reboot movie in the
That's not
flashback.
why I thought that, but I appreciate you giving me a lifeline there.
I also love Chris Pine. He is my top Chris of the Hollywood Chris's.
Me too.
Who plays
Hemsworth?
Captain America?
That's Evans.
Oh,
That's Chris
right.
Evans, yeah.
He's probably my Chris number 2. That would
He's
put-
number 3 for me, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Hemsworth is very talented. I go back and forth, and Hemsworth, he didn't really ever wear a shirt in this El Royale
Yeah.
movie, which was a great costuming choice.
But
I
Pine
recommend.
is so much more versatile. Like, he can do anything.
He could do
Pine-
anything he
can.
wanted
He really can.
to me.
He tries really hard.
He's a tryhard. Chris Pine,
He is a
you're
very-
tryhard.
You know what? He's my try-hard Chris.
Yeah, you heard it
he's
first.
the Chris Pinehard.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
No. All right. That's it for Level Up, unless, Matt, you have thought of something.
I just want to talk for a second about the lead actress. I'm trying to remember her name. Was it Celia something? She was the singer.
Yeah.
She was amazing.
She was great. She was really the standout star of that movie.
I'd like to see her in more things.
Mm-hmm.
She was
it also
very,
had
very good.
that lady Dakota Johnson from the 50 Shades of Grey movies.
Yeah, and she was good.
She was good, but I kept thinking that they must have been filming 50 Shades at the same time as this was shot because her hair was that same hair and it was not appropriate for the era at all.
Right.
Maybe she was under contract to not change her hair for that movie.
I think probably she was like waiting reshoots or something like that.
Yeah. Yep. Well, Mathiu, haven't done a ton. I did start rereading an old favorite manga of mine because
Ooh.
The real life is a dumpster fire, and I like to escape into escapism. And it's unfortunately it's really great, and I still love it, and it's super problematic, and that type of older soft misogyny where women are great, and you definitely, but are characterized as trophies instead of characters for, you know what I mean? It's kind of a bummer. But that's it.
Please say the name of the manga.
I apologize. It's called Bakuman. Bakuman is a manga about two young men in middle school, which seems to be ninth grade. Japanese school different. Who decide that they want to become manga artists, and it's about their journey getting a hit in Shonen Jump. It's the realistic type of manga, kind of, because it's still a shonen-y manga, and it's steeped in a lot of the tropes of things like a Dragon Ball's or a Naruto's or a One Piece's. So, it's great, and also kind of a bummer, but I don't know. What are you going to do?
That's life.
I know. It's problematic, but enjoyable. It's a good story. Anyway, haven't been up to a lot lately, I guess. So why don't we just kind of move right along into the quest log?
We are not calling it the quest log this time. We are calling it the Dark Compendium.
But it's not called the Dark Compendium in the game. It's actually just called the quest log.
The Dark Compendium.
Quest log.
The Dark.
Quest. Wait, let me try it like this and see how it hits your ear.
Okay.
The quest log.
Welcome, my child, to the Dark Compendium. Come, kindred.
Gather ye round.
No, I can't do it. I cannot do this, gang. This game is fucking stupid and terrible. Don't you fucking treat it with any sort of gravitas, Vanessa. How dare you?
When we play a new game for the first time, we like to talk about our individual histories with it a little bit.
Ooh.
John, why don't you kick us off and tell us your history with Vampire the Masquerade, Bloodlines.
Well, I have never played this game before. I'd heard a lot about it because I heard it was like
shut up about it for 3 months.
The best looking game. When it was coming out, people were like, "Oh my god, have you seen Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines? It's incredible. The graphics, it's using the new Source engine from Half-Life 2, and it really is like
the whole controversy. Maybe it's not a controversy. Maybe I'm over exaggerating, but the fact this game got delayed so Half-Life 2 could come out first. is really interesting to me because this game looks like shit compared to Half-Life 2.
Is that true? What's funny about that is that
does.
even with a delay, it's apparently the most broken. It's so broken that you have to download.
Dude,
a
this
fucking
game going
unofficial
through
patch.
I'm playing the patch version 2, going through doors before they're fully open.
Yes,
will
it's a
pretty
nightmare.
much break the fucking game.
It's a nightmare.
This game sucks.
It wants to be the game where you can just like click to open the door, but it's also Resident Evil, where every time you click to open the door, you got to sit down, pull your phone out, check your Twitter feed, maybe go take a fucking pee because you got to make sure that door opens all the way.
We'll get there, but like opening any door in the haunted hotel mansion thing, and like being a little bit impatient and trying to get through it before it fully creaks open and lets you really feel the atmosphere will break the game. It sucks.
And also, if you open the door, if you don't walk through a door fast enough, it'll close on you, and you have like
It will.
2 seconds.
Every door
to close
closes.
to walk
It's so
through it.
stupid.
So have you? So yeah, I didn't have a good enough computer to play this when it came out, and I just kind of forgot it existed until we started doing this podcast, and people are really excited for us to play this game. And so I definitely am super baby fresh eyes. It runs real nice on my computer now, which is nice.
Oh yeah, like the game runs great, like, but everything about the in-game mechanics feels like trash.
That's a good point.
I had been aware of Vampire the Masquerade, the sort of LARP game, or I guess it's also a tabletop game of some sort. I'm not fully clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
when
it
I
is.
was
It's
in
also,
college, there were kids
it
who
was
would
also
play it.
It was also a popular TCG back in the day.
Oh.
And a
Magic
television
blew up.
show.
What's a TCG?
A trading card game, TCG or CCG.
Whoa, was it really?
Yeah, I remember. I was one of those kids that had a ton of like Magic the Gathering cards, but never played a goddamn single match of it because I didn't know anybody that had any interest in it. And it was the same with Vampire the Masquerade. I had a ton of Vampire the Masquerade cards, and there was also a Werewolf the Apocalypse trading card game, which I had a ton
You
of.
meet a
'cause I
werewolf at the
love-
end of this episode.
No,
you
you
meet a
don't.
gangrel at the
You
end
meet
of this
a
episode.
vampire.
Well, hold on. Wait. Am I playing a different game?
Maybe.
I 100% met a werewolf at
He's
the end
a
of this episode.
gangrel.
He's a vampire that
Dude,
turns into a
He
wolf,
was
not
a
a werewolf.
dog that turned into a person. He was a werewolf.
He specifically says to you that he's not a werewolf, Jim.
Wait, but he
You
starts
assume
out
he's
as
a werewolf,
dog.
and he's like, no, stupid, I'm just a really fucking powerful vampire.
I didn't
He's
assume
a
that because
dog.
I'm the same
He's
kind
a
of vampire.
Oh, are you?
You know what? Like, I've been super insecure since we started playing this game because, like, when Vanessa talked about it, I was like, I feel like I'm maybe playing a different game. Now that we're talking about the end of this chunker, I feel like I've probably been playing a different
We aren't
game.
even talking. Jim, have you
Can't,
played this?
you're not going to be able to get through to him. Just don't. Jim, you are playing a different game. And in
Yes.
fact, I can
I
tell you
might
what
be
game
playing
you're
it
playing.
right.
You're playing Vampire the Masquerade Crusade.
Wolf
That's
time.
the name of it. I had my history with Vampire, other than collecting the cards that, like I mentioned, even though I never played the thing as a kid, is this is the second Vampire the Masquerade PC game, and the first one was also a broken piece of shit that didn't work, and I bought it and was always really frustrated that it wouldn't work when I was younger, and certainly did not buy goddamn Bloodlines, even though it seems like it was probably by a totally different developer and stuff. Same thing. Broken, shitty game. So, what's your problem, Vampire the Masquerade games? Why can't you fucking figure it out?
This is by Troika Games, who did Fallout 1 and 2. Quite a few of the staff that worked on this worked on Fallout 1 and 2. So, and also Fallout New Vegas. And you can see some real through lines in how some of the quests work and stuff.
I wanted to play this game because I had heard about its adamant fan community for a long time. I heard that it was very broken, but I also heard that for like the past 10 years or something like that, fans have been working on this unofficial patch to restore deleted content and even record in some new dialogue and keep this game alive, and they're still releasing updates to make it run better. It is just hugely beloved by the people who beloved it.
The patch I installed this morning came out 10 days ago.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was October 10th, 2019.
I mean, this game came out in 2003, and people are still patching it. 2004.
It's crazy.
I did not get the restored content mod on this, so I'm playing like vanilla, but working. So like a bug fixed version. So I might not have quite all the same quests. It did get rid of the like background histories perks that you can get. They disabled that before release, so I don't have.
Oh, that's a pity.
That stuff.
Well, let's talk about how this game begins, because it begins in a pretty fun way for the BuzzFeed crowd with a personality test.
Ooh.
I did this both ways, where you can like fully create your character and also do the personality test. I did the fully create your character and did the tutorial, and it was okay. And then I did the personality test, and I was a rich boy vampire.
Ooh, which one? The Toreador?
Yes, Toreador. Thank you. I cannot keep track of the stupid clan names in this game.
I'm starting to get them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I can't stick with it.
It's really simple. There's Bruja, there's Gangrel, there's Nosferatu, there's Toreador, there's Treme, and there's Ventru.
How was that simple?
I think, and there's also Shabbat and who are the Ventru?
The Ventru are like Prince Lacroix. They're the leaders of Vampire Society.
That's the thing, is like these classes are not distinct enough.
Now
and also the game gives you zero reasons to care anything about these vampire politics.
I think you're supposed to, like, the game assumes a knowledge of it. It really acts like you know all this stuff.
That's not what a video game should do. And like all of the world building should be within the game. Like, I was going through this game and listening to people talk about vampire politics, and I was like, this game has given me zero reasons to give a shit about any of this.
I'm a gangrel, and that means I can transform like into a wolf or something.
Whoa, that's rad.
Yeah.
Oh, so the guy at the end might have been a gangrel. I thought he was a werewolf.
Yes. He's a gangrel.
Okay.
We talked about Well, he and I talked about it. We're like,
does he have glasses?
Yeah. I don't remember.
Yep.
We are playing the same game then.
Yeah, glasses.
Thank God.
All
Matt,
right.
where did your personality test put you?
My first personality test tried to land me in the Nosferatu clan.
Now they're like the hideous Nosferatu, like deformed ones who cannot be in public, or else they break the Masquerade.
We should mention what the Masquerade is. The Masquerade refers to the vampire rule that you don't let humans know that vampires exist.
Right.
And the Nosferatu looks so much like that guy from the film Nosferatu that they cannot just go walking around.
So, is calling it the Masquerade cool to you guys?
Actually, like, of the things of vampire lore, that's the part I really like. I think that's neat.
John, that's not cool.
Oh.
It's really
like
lame, and with
it's super lame.
The way that vampires
I think it's lame
are just
too.
Like people. Can you imagine fucking somebody being like, "You're part of the Masquerade now"? I would be like, "Well,
you know what? You have to pretend.
I'm not
you know what we call
pretending
the Masquerade.
I just think it's neat that you have to like behave in a certain way in public, and then you can be like yourself when you're among friends.
Yeah, I like that aspect too, that you have these powers, but you can't use them indiscriminately throughout the world without consequences.
Unless the person that
fine,
you're using the powers
it
on is someone that you're murdering, because then it doesn't really matter. You can get away with using a lot of powers against human enemies, which is pretty wild.
Calling it the Masquerade make it seems like you're at prom.
You are at prom.
Vampire Prom.
I mean, calling it the
eternal
Masquerade makes
promenade.
it. Calling it the Masquerade makes it sound like David Bowie's going to show up at some point, and he's not gonna.
Yeah,
because they couldn't afford
He was in
him.
The Hunger. He likes vampire stuff.
He loves vampire stuff.
They
Tilda Swinton's
couldn't
gonna come and kiss you,
afford
and
him.
So, Matt, did you decide to be a Nosferatu then, or did you choose a different clan?
No, I eventually just went in and did the full-blown character creator where you get to pick them. I'm a Bruja, clan.
that's the you just did the gringo pronunciation of Bruja.
All right.
I took the quiz and it told me I was a Treme, which is like the mage scholar kind of type. And I was like, yeah, that sounds right, but I want to be a sexy vampire, so I went with Toreador like Jim.
I'm a sexer too. You know, one thing I don't like about being a sexy the sexer vampire is that even when like you pick a lock or whatever, you still have like black fingernails and gray hands, and you look like you're not even close to looking like a human. You obviously look like a vampire. It's not a sexer at all.
Where do you get lock picks?
You pick up your lockpick kit like in the tutorial.
Yeah.
What?
From Bender.
Yeah, Bender gives them to you.
He didn't give me no lock picks.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You lose. Start the game over.
You only need the one. You have it. I think you can buy another in the pawn shop, maybe. I don't know.
In addition to choosing a clan, certain patches allow you to choose a background. Did you gentlemen choose a background for yourselves?
Oh,
You know what?
patches?
I could not figure out how to do this. Like, I wanted to be a slut so bad, but I could not figure out a way to do it. I did this patch and unpatch and could not figure out how to do it.
Matt?
I'm going for a standard kind of combat thing, so I just went with the anti-paladin.
Tell us about the anti-paladin.
When I wasn't taking fucking notes, I don't know. I hit hard things. Things that hit hard get hit hard.
You're a Bruja and the hard puncher.
I have a power called like blood buff, and it like gives
Everybody has that.
Yeah, everyone has
really?
that, Matthew.
Well, then I don't fucking
Everyone.
You know what? This game is so fucking confusing. We're not going to be able to delineate any of this.
Hey, what did you name your vampires?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Oh, that's a great question.
Good question. Vanessa, you go first.
I wanted the most seductive name that I could think of, so I went with Miss Eponia Shade.
Whoa, that's so seductive and gothic.
Was this from your gothic name creator?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so was mine.
What about you, Jim?
My vampire's name was Mr. Chester or Chad Cemetary.
Chad Cemetary. Okay. John?
I am Claudius Scares.
Ooh.
These are all very
scary.
creative. I'm proud of you. Mine also very creative. My character's name is, I stole this name from the last game. He's Mathieu Vampire Zandt.
No, that's the worst vampire name.
That's just
You know
your
what? Like,
name
you
with
can't-
vampire
You know
in
what?
there.
You violated the Masquerade with that vampire name.
It's vampire with an N. It's not the same. Nobody will know.
Vampire. You lost the Masquerade. Your humanity is 0.
So I chose as my background a not a slut, but a sort of a man eater, I think it's called. So
Oh, here she comes. Watch out, Vamps, she'll kill you
Wait, so
up.
you had a slut
here
option,
I
but
come.
Jim didn't have a slut option, but you played the
No,
same.
I could not. You know what? I wanted to be a slut so bad, and I could not figure out how to do it.
yes, and listeners, for the uninitiated, in the patch that allows you to choose different backgrounds like lowborn or blunt fangs or hard ass chica.
What? That is not a class.
Yeah.
Hard ass
Or
chica.
a
Fuck this
mortician
game.
or an ex-cop or a perv. Here's the description for perv. You love women. Good God Almighty, do you love women? You love their bits and you love their pieces. Yeah. They...
Okay, I guess I'm not a perv.
Those are Jonas Brother lyrics.
You can be an insectoid, special forces.
What's insectoid?
Let's see here. Insectoid.
Insectors? I love them toys.
Yeah, they were cool. Was that the one which had the bug rider and you had this like giant bug that you could put your action figures on?
Yeah, they had like flies and beetles and wasps and bees. And the dudes had giant bug eyes.
Yep. You can
And
choose a dropped
antennas on
as a
their foreheads.
baby.
Dropped as a baby.
Yep, dropped as a baby
That's
is one
a
of them.
thing. Dropped as a baby.
Yeah.
So is this the first
This game is
inkling that this
stupid.
game is super problematic? Like when you're reading through these and you're like, oh, boy.
And you're like,
it did
I'm
have
going
a-
to choose slut.
It did have a homosexuality option, but I have a feeling that it's not going to like let me date beefy boys, John.
Aw.
John, I have a feeling it's not going to let you date beefy boys.
Can you imagine being on the fence about this game and then seeing the subclass and be like, dropped as a baby? I'm in.
Yeah.
Here's a ex-gymnast stripper background.
Oh, gymnast, J-I-M or G-Y-M?
No, GYM.
From the
I'm
gym
sorry,
bummer.
Jim. So yeah, high recommend for the patch with the backgrounds. They tend to give you bonuses to certain starting attributes at the detriment of others.
Yeah, I
Ooh,
think I have a bonus to my melee
Can I guys
attack.
tell you a funny story?
Oh,
Please
of course.
Someone tried to hit on me recently,
Was it a 2?
and they text me and said, "I really wish I could hit the gym, but the gym was JIM."
Oh no!
Wow.
And
Say-
it was. I didn't know what to say. I didn't say anything. No, I did. I said, "Good one."
Thank you.
Yeah. What do you say to that?
Don't hit me.
Yeah, like I'll call the police if you try to
No,
hit
hit
me.
it harder.
Don't do a hit on me.
Don't do a hit. Where are we on this fucking walkthrough?
We have not really started yet. We're still in the
The
character
game
creator.
opens. Sunrise. No, it's a sunset.
Sun-
It's
Sunset.
definitely not a sunrise.
With sexing in the grossest hotel room
Yep.
maybe that's ever been in a video game.
There are no sheets on mattresses on any of the beds in this game.
The walls are everything is brown in this game. It's brown or black. And the mattress and walls in this hotel room where you get turned into a vampire are brown.
Yeah.
They're brown.
It looks horrible. I think there are handcuffs dangling from the end of the bed.
There's a bra, I think, on the floor. Maybe?
There's a bra on the floor. It's a super kinky scene.
Was your sire a man, Vanessa?
He was. I believe if you choose the homosexual option for a background, your sire is the same gender as your character.
interesting.
Interesting.
But otherwise,
the
they're-
sires don't really matter,
No,
though.
because
They get their head chopped off.
yeah, immediately after you get sired, the door is kicked down. Some crazy vampires run in, and you get staked right away, right through your little vampire heart.
You know, this is a thing that confused me because, like, in vampire lore, stakes will kill you. But in this game, stakes only paralyze you.
That's right. As we
Which-
learn when we come to,
Bender.
and yeah, we are in a old theater and listening to a little presentation by my waxy faced honeyboo, Prince LaCroix.
You mean your sexy ventriloquist dummy?
Yep.
What?
He's so tiny.
More like howdy,
He's a little boy.
howdy do me.
Oh, John. So
His,
suggestive.
His character model does perhaps resemble a ventriloquist dummy,
A little bit.
but he's clearly meant to be slick and appealing.
He does seem he is short, but maybe it's just because he's standing next to that really tall guy all the time.
Yeah,
But I think
he's a little bit short. He looks like Domhnall Gleeson in the new Star Wars movies. Like, he kind of gives off that pseudo-Nazi
the
vibe.
red-haired
To me,
guy?
he looked like Ben Shapiro.
I have his name muted on Twitter, so I don't have to hear people complaining about that awful man, and I don't want to hear about him now.
All right. So he explains that he is the Prince of Los Angeles, and he's the fella who gets to decide which vampires get to make new vampires.
Can I say this again? This game gives you zero reasons to care about these vampire politics.
Well, I mean...
There's no stakes.
There's plenty
no
of stakes. There's
There's
one
already
in
been
your chest.
Two, Jim. Right away, into your chest.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of, how do you not die?
Because
So you
as
sleep with
Jack,
this lady, and then she bites
Did you
and
skip the
then-
tutorial?
A lady, depending on your intro, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the game I played.
So you get turned into a vampire.
Yeah.
And they're mad because you didn't get permission
Excuse
to
me.
turn someone into a vampire. And then they kill the person that turned you into a vampire. And then be like, hey, you're a vampire now. Go suck on everyone.
That sounds great. Here's what actually happens when you're playing the game. It starts with a cutscene where you're sleeping with a person, and then I guess they bite you, and then immediately the doors get kicked down by some people that shoot stakes out of their fucking guns.
How
And
did we
I
not
guess
just say this?
That's
They're
it.
gun stakes.
It happens in like 10 seconds. This is the opening to the game. It's insane.
Well, then there's 2 minutes in the theater, and you meet like
This
Yeah.
episode, by the way, is off the fucking rails already.
I can't imagine why. So, yeah, at the theater, the prince is doing his little TED talk, and Nines Rodriguez is not enjoying it. This guy's like, "Screw this! I'm out of here. You
Yeah, he's
suck,
up in the
Prince."
balcony like, boo, boo.
Yeah,
Says this stinks, and his voice is John Lovitz.
Yeah, and I think I think that LaCroix was going to kill you as well, but then he's like, "Oh, I can be merciful. This new vampire is an innocent victim. He or she does not know our ways, so they'll be given the chance to prove themselves as my vampire errand boy."
Oh boy.
Can I tell you this tutorial was one of the most frustrating things I've ever done. I tried to sneak past the vampire thing probably 9 times. It was so...
What are you talking about?
See,
Like,
now,
I think maybe I didn't do the fucking tutorial.
yeah, that's
Maybe Mathiu is playing a different
no.
game.
I think Matthew skipped that because that's where you get your lockpick.
Oh yeah, Mathiu did just skip the whole tutorial.
Yeah.
But he met.
I
he
didn't
met
realize I
Bender,
was
so-
skipping the fucking tutorial.
It does tell
Matthew
you how all
does
the
his
things
own
work.
way.
Yes, it's the game's fault. You skipped the tutorial.
Excuse me, it's not like, do you want to play the tutorial? I'm talking to this guy and he's like, what's up? I'll show you some tips. And I was like, who's this creepy old motherfucker? Why don't you go fuck yourself, dude? I don't know
But
if
he
you know
sounded
playing evil.
You sound like the king from Disenchanted.
He doesn't sound like the king from Disenchanted. He sounds a roof.
So yeah, LaCroix tells you to go to Santa Monica.
On the streets of Santa
Boulevard, You have to
Monica.
dodge
I
those
remember
inline
the
skaters,
when you
or
left for
they
Santa
will
Monica.
knock you down. So, before we do that, we run into this fella named Jack, who's kind of standing outside, and he is a Bruja, I believe.
Is he? How do you know?
Well, he just seems like it.
Because he's like he's not wearing a shirt, but he has a vest on.
Yeah. The clans.
He looks like my dad, if I'm being
I was
honest.
gonna
He
say
looks like my
he's
dad.
kind of got a sexy vibe to him, but then you said your
like
dad.
Jim's dad.
Yeah, like Jim's dad.
He looks like my dad.
He looks a little rough and tumble. He's seen some things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. If he was missing a couple more teeth, he looked just like my dad.
So he tries to explain how to be a vampire to you. He tells you to...
By the way, does a terrible job.
He does. First, he tells you to suck on a human.
He does. He tells you to, like, feed your bloodlust on a rando who's hanging out in an alley. Which, like, and the feeding mechanic in this game does not work.
Yeah,
It worked in the tutorial, did not work anywhere else because I killed multiple toots.
You have to just press it
later.
twice,
you
Jim.
have to pull out before
Yeah.
their blood is
you
drained.
know what? You press the F key to feed, and it worked in combat. I could feed on people in combat.
Yeah.
Press the F key to feed on a toot. Press the F key to feed to, like, stop feeding on a toot.
Yeah.
Didn't work.
Are you sure?
I killed multiple toots trying to stop feeding it.
Maybe try like stopping halfway and then press F.
Yeah, I tend to like just drink halfway and then stop.
Nah, you gotta drink them down to the
You're
last
supposed
fucking
to, like,
drop.
get it right to the end, and, like,
Well-
that's just, like, not taking advantage of the game mechanic.
Except it clearly doesn't work to do it your way, so I think I am taking
I've been doing the
advantage of
same
it.
thing, and I haven't killed any toots, nor have I killed any
I killed a couple
bums,
toots.
nor have I killed any drunken dudes peeing on the walls. It's
So-
actually pretty easy to get blood in this game.
Hold on, did you guys run into any vampires who disappeared in a cloud of smoke in the alley?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's at the end. The Sabat following
What's-
you. It leads into
why does
the
that happen?
cutscene.
That
We'll
didn't
This
get
game
happen.
to
doesn't
that,
make any
Jim.
sense.
If you
It just-
had
it just- this-
continued
this-
playing
this
through to
game-
the point that we all
this-
played through.
This game just does things. And the things it does don't make sense.
All right.
So,
Our friend
what-
also tells us how to feed off of rats.
yeah,
Why would I want
which
to
is-
beat off a rat? What?
feed off of rats.
How many rats did you guys beat
Cut
off?
the
Tag
feet off
yourself.
of rats.
Well, maybe you're a scientist and you're breeding rats.
We're never going to get through this episode.
I
This is
also
where we
know
live now, Jim. This is our
that-
home. We live in
You know
this
what? This is what
episode
our-
from now until
This
eternity.
is what Square Roots has become.
So Jack has tells you that, like, first is the rich guy, and he's like, "Oh, this well-bred PhD blood is amazing," but then you have some homeless people blood, and it's not as good because they don't have the same pedigree. I'm like,
That's some eugenic
yeah,
shit.
dude, this is problematic. Don't come at
It
me with
is.
eugenics. I was all about you, but
This is very eugenic-y.
for men wearing leather vests, I feel like you're very judgmental.
Well, you have to remember that everyone in this game is a evil, blood-sucking vampire.
Right.
So,
Oh,
I would-
by the way,
You know, maybe
did
they're
you
not
guys
saying
know
it's like
that-
a natural difference. Maybe it's a difference of the environment. Like the homeless people, they don't have the vitamins and minerals in their blood
Okay.
that the well-off people do.
Oh, we should
yeah,
also
that's the impression I got.
mention that Jack is voiced by John DiMaggio.
We've mentioned that like 18 times.
It's voiced by
Fake.
Bender.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, Vanessa. Do continue. So,
I'm sorry. I just got a little frustrated because my bloodlust is rising.
Don't frenzy.
Hey, by the way, I was going to tell you guys this earlier in the chat. Did you know there's a cheat code to alter the size of the female's breasts?
Nope.
No.
Didn't know that.
You can choose your own numerical value for the breasts. It was topped out at a 3, but with the patch, it's whatever you
wait,
want.
so is this
Boy.
on your character or all women?
This is every female in the
Oh
game.
my god.
Yeah, it alters every female NPC in the
You
game.
give them like reasonable A cups because this game is overly generous, I think, with the breast size on these women.
The jiggle physics in this game are embarrassing.
Yeah, my character is a female. She has a crop top and a tramp stamp and sort of a pixie haircut. And she wears those gloves that are like just on the middle finger and then are lace. And that's what I see when I lockpick.
Oh, that's lovely.
Mm-hmm.
So the rest, so you get like combat tutorial. There's one of these Shabbat dudes around, or no, like I guess a human hired by Shabbat around.
Oh, by the way, we should talk about combat. click the button.
Also, this game uses the words thugs and gangbangers more than Rush Limbaugh does.
Oh, yikes, by the way. Yikes.
Yeah. It's got a
It was
political
kind of
view.
okay until the warehouse.
Yep.
Oh my god. The dialogue of the warehouse guys. Yikes.
Do you know,
Yeah.
remember that bit in Community where Chevy Chase was imagining what criminals looked
Chevy?
like? Chevy Chase? Sorry. Do you remember that where he's imagining what criminals looked like and had this Abed and Troy as stereotypical criminals? That's sort of what the gangbangers are like in this game.
But we're not there
Alright.
yet.
All right. Anyway.
Combat's great. The game is usually in first person, but when you enter combat, it switches to third person, so you can see the beautiful combat animation.
That's so that's the most frustrating thing I think about this game is when I want to interact with something, I click the button and I end up like smacking a door with a baseball bat. That is so annoying.
I
hate it.
I do the opposite. I keep trying to interact with things, and then I'll cast magic on myself and be really fucking annoyed. And then I just use heal again.
I'm just trying to like close menus and I cast magic instead of closing the menu. And then I'm like, oh, I have to go like find another toot.
The keys are bindable,
Actually, you
but
know
like
what?
everything
John's
is so
just sucking on
stupidly.
twos all up and down this game.
I have been feeding off of cops. Thank you very much.
You're
Oh wow! John's crossing the blue line.
I am my white dreadlocks man is Antifa, I guess.
I like that the W, since it's a PC game, it's WASD for the movement, and then your use button that you think is going to be the click is E.
Yep.
Yeah.
Crouch is control, which is a million miles
You know
away.
what? Because
none of the controls
E
make any
stands
fucking
for interact.
Interact.
E means interact. You know what? Control means crouch. You know what? Like I have not played many PC games.
L
like
means
PC
inventory.
adventure games.
Yep.
Space means
like
jump.
W
Like
to move
quest
forward.
log, which is
I hate it.
No, L is log, I is inventory.
Yeah.
Also, you can cast. I have this power because I'm a gangrel where I can cast birds on people, which is pretty great.
That's not.
I don't have any good
power.
powers. All I have is ability to hit people with axe that I found.
I've got fortify and attack by birds.
So I activated the cheats for this game, and one of the cheats is give me everything, and one of the everythings is a sledgehammer. And I'm not kidding. Like killing people with a sledgehammer in this game is very satisfying because you smack it and they fly across the room. They fly across the map.
People fly across the room all the time when I have my fortify on. It's pretty great.
Why the physics in this game are stupid.
They are as good as Dead Space, which we'll be talking about pretty soon.
Dead Space is a little bit more grounded than this.
I don't know. I had objects just fly. Well, we'll talk about that when we get to Dead Space.
Yeah,
but
This
yeah,
game is semi-open world. In that
That's okay. It's not semi-open world. You get like 3 streets to walk between.
it's like Dead Space open world.
yeah,
Not Dead Space.
John. You
Deus,
can for everything
Deus
in Dead
Ex.
Space.
Day of Sex.
Okay, it's very Deus
Yeah.
Ex.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. It's very Deus Ex, where you get like a little sandbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after we kill the Sabbat who are attacking, Jack kind of explains that there are 3 sort of factions in Vampire World. There is the Camarilla, which is the structured society. They're sort of these anarchists who want to break away from that structured society, led by Nines Rodriguez. And then there are these heckin' crazy people named the Sabbat who want to bring about the vampire apocalypse.
They're like the true evil. Like, you know how your vampires are kind of evil? It's like how Cobra will fight with G.I. Joe to end the war on drugs because the drugs are more evil than Cobra.
Right.
It's like that.
Yeah, we have the lawful evil, the neutral evil, and the chaotic evil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought the Anarchs were almost chaotic good. I don't know. I guess we'll have to. Well, I guess no one's good in this game, so I shouldn't assume
No
that.
one's good in this game. They're all undead monsters, and never forget that.
Yeah.
So it's off to sunny Santa Monica.
So they don't really explain what you're doing. He's like, "Well, I've got a mission for you and so come back after you've done your test thing."
Yep. Game
And
just
that's it.
throws shit at you.
I read the emails, so I knew what to do. There's some like letters and emails on your desk.
Yeah, you get to a safe house. It's disgusting. It's
Yep.
another disgusting room with
Jesus.
a bear-stained mattress.
We just got to the safe house.
You got to get them some sheets.
Yep.
There's blood packs in the fridge, which I didn't find out about until when I wrote the notes for this episode.
Oh.
So you get a little note saying, meet Mercurio, who is a human ghoul type dude who's going to help you out.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a note about finding... that's when you come back, right? That you get the Bloody Mess quest. When you check your email later. There's another email. Oh, yeah, there's an email with like some clues about meeting some mysterious guy.
Yeah, there's that. And then there's another even more mysterious email that's like, the king sets his pawn upon the board or something.
Ooh, that's very mysterious.
Yes. So we head outside. There are a couple guys hanging around right out there. There's one guy whose car is broken down, who's kind of a yuppie. And I, of course, used my seduce powers on him to get his blood.
I tried to seduce him, but he's like, I'm married.
Oh, well, maybe he is, but it doesn't matter when it comes to me.
Ooh.
Because I really like dialogue options, so I maxed out my persuade and my seduction so I could...
What do you call... glamour. That's what the vampires have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have, like, maximum glamour.
I'm maximum glamour.
Mm-hmm. Did you talk to that guy across the street who's like, are you a vampire? I'm a vampire. I'm a ghoul. Hey, vampires exist, everybody. We're all vampires. Hi, I'm a vampire. Hi.
Yeah, ghouls in this game are people who have consumed the blood of a vampire and are sort of beholden to them.
Mm. And as soon as you step outside, well, first you get a homeless person that sort of shows his neck to you for funsies. But then you get, you see a cutscene of Mercurio walking, well, sort of crawling into his apartment complex, bleeding
he's
everywhere.
like crawling up the steps with blood trailing behind him.
So that's he gives you your address and sort of instructions on how to get there. So I guess that's the first place you should probably go.
Yeah. So he explains that he was tasked with getting some astrolite, which is like an explosive of some sort.
I thought that was a lube.
I guess it's a lube, an explosive lubricant.
Right. Sure. So you get your so he's got lots of Astroglide for us, right?
Yeah, and he doesn't actually because it's been stolen.
Oh.
Some no good nicks have pinched his Astroglide.
What a bummer.
He requests some pills, just so he can, ease the pain.
He's been messed up. Like he's got ribs poking out. He's been real damaged, and his natural healing abilities aren't keeping up with the amount of wounds he's received because he got robbed by a bunch of criminals when he tried to do this transaction. Mm-hmm. And so the first thing I did was go get some pills for him. So I went to the clinic, and the lady was very rude, told me to wait in line, take a number. So I was like, you know what? I've got 3 ranks in lockpicking. Maybe I'll go lockpick my way in there.
And did that work?
It did.
Nice.
I made my way through hacking people's computers and picking locks. I read some emails about this doctor who was having an affair, which comes back later, oddly enough.
Mm.
Where was this?
In the medical clinic. And got him his morphine.
Nice. I also got some. I was able to get into the hospital in general by just being like, I have a friend there. I found a dying woman, and I did give her some of my vampire blood to save her life.
Oh, I did that too.
And then I also lockpicked my way into the upper clinic, and there was a guard in there. So he was like confronting me, and I said, hey, how about this instead? And the camera does pan down as if your character is crouching.
Oh,
and
no.
There's a little jingle, and the keys from his belt are then in your inventory.
Well, that's hand. I didn't have to do that. Go upstairs until the Bloody Mess quest. So I didn't deal with him until later.
Yeah.
Because you can find the morphine's downstairs in the doctor's office because he's taken some for himself, I think.
Yes, I think I didn't realize that until I went back down. So yeah, we give the pills to this guy. He's very grateful. And then we head on over to the beach to find these no good nicks.
Yay!
And there's stuff going on down at the beach.
Yeah, there's a mysterious lady who comes up to you and she's got a sexy foreign accent. She's like, I just want to say the people you're looking for through that chain link fence ends up the stairs. Goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
And she disappears. And then there's like a stuttering guy who seems to have stuff to do, but he didn't have anything to tell me. I was trying to say hi to him, but he was real nervous.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't really want to talk to me.
Yeah, but these are vampires who are standing around down here.
How do you know this?
Well, when you talk to them, you can see their pointy teeth.
Oh, yeah.
So that tends to be a giveaway.
Right. But you don't have, like, vampire dar.
No. Then we sort of go up this staircase to the Thug's beach house. And how did you play this, John?
Well, I was trying to be sneaky, and I made birds attack the guy and then came up behind him and sucked his blood to death.
Ooh.
But then people saw me doing that and started shooting through the windows at me, and I just went into full like crazy mode and ripped them apart and sucked their blood like one by one and destroyed them, stole their weapons, used it against them. They're all dead.
Nice.
Yeah.
How about you, Matt? What did you do?
I did the same thing. So I'm playing kind of a melee-focused character, and I don't really... This game is broken, and I'm not going to fucking play games with its goddamn stealth mechanics. So I am just going to bulldoze my way through everything. So I killed everyone, and then I went around and hit them all one more time just to make sure they were dead.
Vanessa, there's a meter on the left with a number and like 2 meters.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Well, you do have your humanity meter.
Not that one.
Your health meter?
No, the stealthy one. You know, there's a number on top.
Oh, yeah.
I don't understand
know.
how that meter works.
I don't really understand how that works either.
Okay.
There's lots of meters and things on the screen, and they probably indicate something, but I don't know what it is.
I like the fancy faces that count not your humanity, your masquerade.
Your masquerade violations.
Yeah.
And if you violate the masquerade 5 times, the game does end prematurely.
And if you start doing it even a few times, don't you get hunters and stuff after you?
Yeah, people start coming after you. I think you can earn forgiveness for a violation.
I got one already.
Nice. But yeah, don't violate the masquerade. That's like rule number 1. If
you do quests for the Camarilla that you get in return, you'll get a what do you call that? A pardon. Yeah.
My strategy here was the same as before. I talked my way in.
Ooh.
I went to see the big boss.
Did you
I implied that I was going to have sex with him. He ordered everyone else out of the room.
Or the big boss?
The big boss.
Okay.
So he told the guard to go away. And then once we were alone, I did suck his blood. Quite a bit.
To death?
I do think I did kill him, yes.
Okay.
But nobody knew. So I took his explosives. I found a vent that I could open up, and there was some money in there, so I took that money.
Lovely.
And then I just left.
Did you give the money back to Mercurio?
I did. And Mercurio later tells me that he went and killed everyone up there, so I shouldn't worry about it.
Okay. I already did. Yeah, he was real happy to find out that I killed them all.
Oh, yeah.
And gave him his cash back. Matt, did
how'd
you
you
give him
get the money? I couldn't get it.
It was an event.
Ah.
Yeah. You can also, you should look for expensive looking stuff. Like you can take there's a car stereo on the table you can sell at the pawn shop. So, but I haven't bought anything in this game, but apparently you can later.
Mm-hmm. You can buy some good weapons later. So, Mercurio then tells us that we need to, finish the job with these explosives, and we have to meet up with Bertram Tongue. Mm-hmm. Great name.
Yep.
But he's in hiding from the twins, Therese and Jeanette.
Oh, boy.
So, Therese and Jeanette run the Asylum Club.
Oh, boy.
Which is a super cool dance club.
With the best dancing animation I've ever seen.
Dancing ever. You could visit our Square Roots Facebook group for smart, cool, very attractive people. Look for the video that John posted up there.
It's also on our Twitter.
Oh, nice. And the first one we're going to run into is Jeanette. Jeanette's a Harley Quinn.
She's a Harley Quinn vampire.
Mm-hmm. She not good at blending her eyeshadow?
Nope.
She has gray skin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like just gray. Not pale. Mm-hmm. Gray.
She does have pigtails, blonde pigtails. Mm-hmm. And a very jiggly chest, indeed.
I really didn't notice the
Especially if you turn the jiggle up
all.
like Jim did.
Yeah, I think Jim's passed out on his on the floor. That's a little behind the scenes podcast moment.
I saw that he went somewhere, but I can't quite make him out on the floor there.
I'm just assuming.
So
maybe he'll
Jeanette
fall asleep on a hot dog tonight.
Maybe.
We can only hope. Or a corn dog flavored beer.
Or a Hot Pocket.
So Jeanette is happy to see you, but tells you that you need to talk to Therese. You go upstairs. Therese is dressed much more sensibly in a business suit.
She only lets you in after about 3 minutes of arguing. You have to listen to her yell at her sister.
Yeah. She goes in there and she's like, "There's someone here. You suck. You treat me like a baby." And her sister's like, "No, you suck. You are a baby.
You're having too much sex with all the humans." Who they call Kine, I think?
Kine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy.
There's a lot of fancy terms for everything.
There are a lot of fancy terms. It all feels very Vampire the Masquerade, which I guess is great. I guess that's good, right? I mean, I can't fucking stand it, but I guess it's good.
It's a very distinct world.
It definitely feels like the 90s television show that the CW was never able to make.
Yes.
Well, there was a vampire show around this time. It's called Kindred the Embrace, I think.
What?
It was based on Vampire the Masquerade.
What?
And it was
lasted one season on UPN, didn't it?
Yeah, something like, I think 1 or 2 seasons. And it was a sexy primetime soap opera.
And as we've discussed before on this show, you can see the actor who portrayed Connorbot in Detroit Become Human on a YouTube Let's Play of Vampire the Masquerade.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. People love this.
Yeah.
I know. Hey, Fox, who made this show, listen, the one thing Vampire the Masquerade's got going for it is that Vampire the Masquerade's a pretty fucking good name.
Yeah.
Why would you change that to Kindred the Embraced? It ran for 1 season of 8 episodes on Fox.
It It was on Canadian TV for like 2 years.
On Fox, yeah.
I think just the same episodes over and over. It was because I saw that show on all the time.
Can we watch the pilot of that show
I'd
for
love
a
to.
bonus episode?
Oh boy. The series premiered on Fox on April 2nd, 1996. New episodes aired weekly until May 9th, 1996, after which the series was canceled.
Then why have I seen so much of it?
It aired for a month and fucking 7 days.
Did they just make special episodes for me or something?
Maybe you have the DVDs and you've just been watching them over and over again?
I swear the show went on for a couple of years. Wow, there's only 8 episodes.
8 episodes.
That's amazing. I should have mentioned that although I had no experience with the video game, I had friends who played the tabletop RPG game, but they all took it way too seriously. So I only went to one session and was like, they expect me to know all the lore and found it way more fun than I did, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my one vampire session.
I like there are several versions of this thing. Werewolf the Apocalypse. What's the mage one? There's a bunch based on different monsters, and I liked werewolf more than I liked vampire. Maybe I just like werewolves more. Cool story, Matt. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
It was pretty great. So Therese wants us to go to this Ocean House Hotel.
Oh, we should also mention that Therese looks like, in the porn movie where the lady is a businesswoman and hasn't taken off her clothes yet. Mm-hmm. That's what she looks like. She's probably carrying a clipboard, and she has the glasses and her hair
she looks like
up.
she's about to shake her hair out.
Yeah, she pulls her hair up in a bun, and then the gray suit against the gray skin was like skin crawling. It was, and not in like a good way. And like, my eyeballs don't like this way.
So she says that she is in a sort of rivalry with Bertram Tongue, but she'll call it off if you go to the Ocean House Hotel.
Yeah, it's more of a posturing thing. She's not actually like mad at him. She just has to like put up this, or else she'll get walked all over because she wants to become like princess of Santa Monica or Prince. No, they just say Prince.
She wants the Camarilla to award her control of Santa Monica.
So it's like a political battle that she's...
It is.
Yeah. So she's like, well, if you take care of one of my other problems, I'll bury the hatchet with Tongue. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, you will.
So she sends you off to the Ocean House Hotel.
Oh, boy.
This place spooked me the fuck out.
It was heckin' spooky.
A couple times.
And there's no combat whatsoever.
Can
I tell you guys my Santa Monica story?
Please
do.
So my dad, that I don't talk to a lot, has family in California.
Your dad, the sexy vampire.
They're all sexy vampires.
Okay.
My dad does kind of like John DiMaggio's character in this game. But so he has family in California, and he went and saw them like 5 years ago, and he didn't tell me they were going, but he sent me a photo, and it was him on the Santa Monica Pier sitting next to Gary Busey.
What?
Yeah, he went to see his sister, and his sister owns a cigar shop on the pier, and just decided to sit down, and who sits next to him but Gary Busey.
Wow.
Yeah. So, it's one of the most confusing photos I've ever seen in my life.
So if you want to meet Jim Banks's family, just buy a cigar on Santa Monica Pier.
Contact Gary Busey at g.busey@predator2.com.
Oh, excellent. Back to the Ocean House Hotel. We step inside, and just the second you get there, things are spooky. Like, you hear whispering voices, you open the door, and chandeliers like rattling at you, and things just start flying at your face.
Mm-hmm. And you do see a sort of, I guess you don't really see a ghost yet. It's just things rattling around, and then you do we get into the elevator and it sort of crashes into the basement?
Well, at least maybe you did. What I tried to do is walk up the stairs, and the stairs fell apart, and I fell into the basement.
I fell through the stairs.
Is that not what you have to do?
I don't know.
I think it is.
I feel like that's kind of like the first step.
Yeah, that's what happened to me too. And then in the basement, which you find yourself in, there is a spooky child running around through the corridors.
That's not a child.
Oh, is it a lady?
I think it's the mom.
That's a fully grown woman. Did you read the diary?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah, it's a mom.
Right.
So there's a couple of ghosts, because there's the ghosts of her kids, and then the ghost of her husband, who you never see, but you can feel.
His name is Ed.
Sorry, Ed.
Yeah, you start to find these newspaper clippings that are like horrible murder in a hotel.
Those are super fucking morbid.
They are.
Like, they're graphic as fuck. By the way, one of those newspaper clippings on the front page had a dismembered child's arm. They're not going to put that shit on the front page of a newspaper.
It depends on their journalistic standards, but normally they would not.
Who would do that, John?
There's
what
fucking
newspaper?
Fox News, probably, right, guys?
Fucking Canadian newspapers, just
so you do
gross.
find out that one of the kids' heads was inside the laundry machine. So, like, basically, the newspapers are leading you to the next place to go to, and then you find a clue there, and so it eventually leads you to turn on the power, take the elevator back up to the second floor, and then leads you to like the kids' room where you find a picture of the family with the dad looking like a demon.
Yeah. The kitchen, which was very scary.
Wait, what's the demon thing?
There's a crayon drawing of the family, and the dad looks like a crazy demon.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It was just on the floor. And then there's...
That's spook 'em.
Yeah.
There's like another kid's room where you just get pelted by toys.
There's the kitchen where you find... I think that's where you find the diary.
Yeah, and then she said, you hear... That's when the ghost really starts talking to you, and she's like, he's coming! And then like the whole kitchen freaks out and flings everything at you.
And you can take damage from the things hitting you. So although there's no combat...
At least once.
How do you avoid that, though? There's
you
no
keep
way
moving.
to know.
You like run in circles till the door opens, basically.
Yeah, I crouched down too. I was trying to like hide in the corner.
That's dumb. That's dumb.
Well, not as dumb as the next. So you get out, and then you get through this air shaft that leads you to the elevator shaft, and she's like, "Be careful." The whispering ghost lady, and so I was like, oh, "Okay, where do I go next?" And then you just die, and it doesn't indicate, unless you're looking up, that you're about to get hit by a elevator.
Oh, I didn't get hit by the elevator.
You know what? And I've honestly, I have God mode turned on.
Oh, okay.
And I went into this spot, and you can't proceed if the elevator falls on you. You can only run around until you turn it off. And then when it crushes you, it says, "What's the thing?" It says like
final death.
You have. Yeah, you have final death or something like that. It's so stupid.
I was being careful and did manage to avoid this elevator, so you guys should have listened to that ghost.
Tries. And so then you're crawling up. You have to like make a jump. The jumping mechanics are super great. It's like the Half-Life games, but there's like. I guess you can sort of stand on tiny little ledges, so you like have to maneuver your way into it feels broken doing this platforming.
Yes. Can I I had to look up how to do jump.
I mean, I have to look up every goddamn control. Every time I have to do anything in this game, I have to go into the options, into the controls, and scroll down this fucking interminable list just to be like, how do I fucking use something?
I do the same thing. Every menu, every action that's not click the mouse, I have to look up in the menu.
Yeah.
This game is not intuitive at all.
It is not.
So the third floor, or I think you go to the third floor. No, the fourth floor. The fourth floor is pretty neat because like eventually everything starts catching on ghost fire, and it keeps like going between this ruined hotel and the current hotel. There's some neat effects here. I really like that part.
And eventually you find this locket of the wife, and you've pieced together that the husband thought she was having an affair, so he killed the children and her and is not letting them leave the hotel. But with locket in hand, you'll be able to banish them all or something like that. It's not really clear.
Yeah.
I didn't. So you find the diary and the ghost husband freaks out in the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you make your way through in one of the most confusing sequences in any video game I've ever done. Because it doesn't make any sense and it does not lead you where to go at all.
Yeah.
You just find the locket.
Yep.
Which, by the way, you get transported to the past, which is for 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything in the past. You don't see the characters.
No, you don't interact with anything. You just get to hear some dialogue, which is not important to anything.
So the content warning on spousal abuse. The diary talks about how the husband was getting increasingly jealous. He thinks that the locket she got from her mother was from another lover, which she brushed off as a joke, but increasingly becomes serious, and he gets deranged. And
okay, where are you getting that from?
the diary. I read
Jimmy
that was
sounds so
that wasn't in the
offended.
diary. That was not apparent in the diary that I read. It was they went to this hotel on a vacation.
Yep.
And the husband just generally became increasingly withdrawn. And then she walked in on the husband in the bathroom and he was just staring at this locket. Mm-hmm. By the way, the locket had zero context. It was not explaining what it was.
Well, in the
or what
diary
was in
it says it's a gift from her mother and that he thought it was from a boyfriend.
Once again, this is the second episode in a row where I have to admit I didn't know you could read the books that you collect.
I read and I normally don't read the stuff in the menus. I read this because I had no idea what was going on, and I got stuck. I went through this hallway where you have to run up these burnt rafters or whatever. Mm-hmm. I did that for an hour.
What?
Just going between these hallways. I had no idea what to do. Aww. And so maybe if I read the diary, I'll understand what's going on.
It doesn't tell you where to go, but
it doesn't. And I ended up just running through the rooms and pressing spacebar, just trying to jump up on stuff. And I ended up on top of these rafters.
And eventually, you go to the past, you get the locket, and then it doesn't tell you where to go from here. And it looks like you can jump down, but you can't. So you have to go down to the 3rd floor, which is opened up in the elevator shaft to get out. And that was
very confusing to me as well.
And then because you've taken the locket away from the cursed place, that you set the ghost free.
Yeah, you exit this mansion and the music is all happy outside.
Mm-hmm.
Is happy? It's weird music. It's a weird piano jaunt that's a little bit spookier than what happened inside the mansion.
Thomas the Tank Engine theme?
It's a weird listening to a weirdo tickling the ivories.
So we head back to the asylum where they're all dancing to cybergoth Thomas the Tank Engine.
Mm-hmm. And Jeanette is there and she wants the locket.
Yeah, I was I was being very polite. I was firm but polite. Polite but firm, maybe is a better way to say it. So she's like, my sister just abuses me and she never listens to me and she just says I'm an idiot and a slut. I'm like, that sounds really hard, but I said I was going to give this to
I did the same thing.
And she's like, well, but my sister just sucks and just give me the locket, please. Oh, do you think that I'm too much of a child to handle it? I'm like, no. I think you're great, and I really respect your abilities, but I need to give this to Therese because I promised I would. She's like, okay, well, I got another idea. There's some kindred moving in to this art space, and I want you to slash up their artwork so that they don't disrupt our work here.
Mm-hmm. One aspect of the clan that I chose, the Toreador, is that they're obsessed with art and beauty.
Mm-hmm.
And if you read about them, it says that they get fixated on art and it's their big weakness. So there was a dialogue option for me that says something like, destroy art, you go too far, never.
Yeah, I saw that too.
So I did choose that.
There's a lot of pretentious fucking dialogue in this game.
So did you all do the art slashing side quest?
I did that.
I did. It was
by the way,
fun.
it took me like maybe 5-10 minutes to understand what was happening in this thing. So there's 5 big like photos or like paintings in this gallery.
Sure.
There's 4? Yeah. Okay. And it's the Cain and Abel, or I guess the Cain story.
Yeah,
the Cain
but
and
it's
Abel
the
thing.
Cain and Abel story through the. It's like it's Vampire the Masquerade lore. That's how the vampires got started.
So Cain is in this. I guess in this universe is the first vampire.
Yeah, this is the same
So
as
it's like-
the Legacy of Kain series, basically, and
Yes,
every other
so you have to-
shitty,
you have to-
cliched, unimaginative.
It's like really
vampire
shitty biblical
story from the
adaptation
90s.
shit.
On
Yeah.
Supernatural, Cain was the first demon.
Ooh.
Yikes. Whoa,
So-
it's so grounded. So like you have to slash these paintings in the sequence of Cain's story, I guess.
And Lilith.
So
Don't forget
Cain,
about Lilith.
Cain and Abel,
Don't-
Cain, and then Cain's wife, and then Cain murdering his wife.
Yeah.
Cain's wife, who is Lilith, the original woman.
Yes, and
Wait,
like I
what?
didn't understand
What about
the
Eve?
the
In some biblical stories, God makes Lilith first, but she is too uppity, so she's banished, and then God makes Eve out of Adam so that she'll be submissive.
Oh.
I didn't understand the blood boss. Here.
I liked the blood boss. I had to use my fortitude to beat it up, but it also does.
You know, I had to get through part of the mansion because like I was trying to do it really fast. I turned on the no target cheat, which means enemies don't see you. And so this guy just ran around this gallery. It took me so long to fight him because every time I would hit him, he would run away because he was looking for me. And it took so long to
Jim,
beat
this
this
game's
guy.
already broken. You're tempting fate by breaking it even further.
I know. I feel like I'm gonna crash it so hard. Every time I opened a menu, I was like, I'm gonna crash this game.
I accidentally brought one of the hunters in Dead Space, the unkillable enemy, through a door that it's not supposed to go to, and the game just like died. It was great.
Well, I didn't do this, but I still got in trouble for doing it.
What?
Essentially,
I feel like this game punishes you for doing this. I got yelled at so
Yeah,
hard.
well,
for
I
doing
got
this
yelled
side
at
quest.
too. I went over to the gallery and the police were out there and they're like, "Oh, something bad happened inside."
Oh, and,
So I'm
and
like-
that you have to sneak around the poor burly man. He's not the most attractive
Aw.
burly man.
So, like, you can just refuse the side quest.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I just refused to do it.
Yeah, you can say.
I
you're not
thought it
gonna-
was required, and so that's why I did it. And, like, I was getting so frustrated towards the end of this because I was like, how many more fucking chores do I have to do for these twins? Because, like, you go to the diner, you do the art gallery, you do the hotel. It's like, what else do I have to do for these girls?
Well, so even if you don't do it, I guess she tells you that. So the dialogue kind of broke here because Teresa is like, "Hey, how could you betray me like that?" I'm like, "I didn't betray you. I thought I was helping you." And she's like, "You idiot! That was my art gallery, you moron." I'm like, "Oh, there was no option to apologize. You just say I didn't do it," and she believes you. I never got
Oh,
one of
really?
saying,
Yeah.
yeah.
I just admitted to it. I was like, yeah, so what, motherfucker?
But then she says that she just wants you to tell Jeanette she's sorry herself, so go meet her in the diner.
Right.
And I had to. She sent assassins to kill me.
Yeah, me
So
too.
she didn't believe you.
Hey, hold on. Did you guys read the Tumblr post that was posted in the
Definitely
group about
not.
this game? So, like, I guess there used to be a profanity filter
Oh yeah,
that was on this game. Yes, and so they would change any text string that had ASS to butt, and so assassination became nations.
Well, I think that there's some sect of vampires cult with the word ass in it.
Asarian
Yeah.
became like Buttnarians or something like that. So great.
That's fantastic. Well, After we escape the diner, we run back to the club to confront Therese and potentially Jeanette as well. And we find them both together.
I have a question before that.
Some of us can't break the APB put out on us for 30 minutes and end up at the beach somehow, trying to avoid cops, just waiting for this fucking timer that I can't see to stop.
Does it eventually go away?
It took me loading another area, going to the beach to get the cops to actually show up.
It's not like Grand Theft Auto.
So why did the cops get called on you? Because the only person in the diner was the chef guy. And
Wait, had the cops called on you?
No,
when I was in the diner, the cops pulled up outside and were like shouting at me to come out.
No, when I was in there, I just killed them, and then I sucked the blood of the guy, but I didn't kill him. The worker there.
Yeah, that's what I did too.
And no one arrested me. I just walked out. What about you two, Jim, Vanessa?
I just talked to those guys who were in the diner. I was like, "What are you guys doing here?" And they're like, "Nothing." And I was like, "You better leave then." And they're like, "Okay."
That's what you get for getting all them ranks in Persuade.
Yeah.
I put all my ranks I've been putting most of my stuff into melee and like strength right now. Just trying to get like a jump on the punching stuff so that I don't have to worry about it too much later.
I went the hacking and lockpicking route. So I'm good at those. I've got
one in each of those, and I have a couple points in charisma at this point as well because I want to be able to persuade people to do stuff, but
I am
mostly I'm just hitting things with my fireman's axe that I found
in
nice.
the
haunted mansion.
I feel bad I didn't get that. I still have a dumb knife. I went back out, talked to the... I can't believe you got... So eventually the police give up on you?
Yeah, I finally went to the beach, reloaded, the cops popped in behind me when I went to the beach and immediately opened fire on me, and I had to run away. And then I went and hit up on the boardwalk, and eventually it starts... A little notice will say police are searching for you, and then a little notice popped up that said police give up. And then I just walked. Then you can just walk right in front of the cops that were searching for you. Like the timer can go off, the cop can be a foot away from you, and if the timer goes off, it says police are done searching for you. You can just walk out and be like, "What's up, bro?"
I think that happens in Grand Theft Auto as well. So, so you go back to the asylum, watch the dancers for another 20 minutes, like I did, and then go upstairs.
They are fucking mesmerizing. They remind me of that video that pops up every goddamn year.
The cyber goths?
Yes, the cyber goths dancing under the bridge.
Yes.
And it's like, I can't not watch it. It's one of the craziest things I've ever seen with my fucking eyes.
That's where I got the Thomas the Tank Engine idea for the video on Facebook. So, Vanessa, tell us about meeting the sisters finally together at last.
So, we've had a lot of indication that these are twin sisters. They look alike.
Everyone calls them the twins?
Yeah, they say that they're sisters.
There's a giant painting of the two of them in their bedroom.
Yeah, exactly.
So there is only one bed in that room.
There is, and it's shaped like a heart. So when we go to finally meet the twins together in one room, turns out it's less of a... Well, it's more of a half and half.
And she's got half her hair and makeup is the pre-sex porno look, and half is Harley Quinn.
And she is arguing with herself.
It's not a twins.
It's a dissociative,
incredibly problematic dissociative identity disorder.
Yeah.
And then they go real deep in the paint and they argue about how...
this part's not good.
No, it's not good.
How their father molested them. And it's really just not a pleasant conversation, and it's not something I particularly wanted to run across in my video game about fucking vampires.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very bad, no good. It's not really clear if they're ever were two sisters or not, or if this is just a personality she made to protect herself from the trauma she experienced.
That's certainly the impression I got.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you can resolve this in a number of ways.
She brings out a gun, which sort of escalates thing.
Which, should we point out, I get shot by guns all the time. She probably gets shot by guns all the time. These are immortal vampires, and guns don't really harm them.
Yeah. But it's a super, I guess, metaphorical gun.
Yeah,
Yes.
because she is saying that she's going to kill her sister, which is, of course, herself.
Right. And you have the option of choosing what sister you want to give the gun to, or asking them to not kill each other, but you have to be pretty good at persuade, I think, to get them to not kill each other.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at it, so I did do that.
I
did not.
I failed.
I asked them to give me the gun, and the game, I guess, just decided that Jeanette would be the one to kill, that Jeanette would be the one to die. And I was not happy about it. And she does do it by shooting herself with the gun, and that does kill her alternative persona.
Mm-hmm. And she's like, never tell anyone about what you saw. And I chose the opposite. I was like, sure, I won't, but that was pretty messed up.
I later on, you meet a Nosferatu that the game really does give you the option to, like, really hammers home, like, you should tell this guy about this. Like, it keeps inserting it into the options, and I'm like, shut up.
That's Bertram Tongue.
Yes. After this face-off, no matter how it resolves, you are finally told that Bertram Tongue is in this gas station, I guess.
Just down the street?
He's just down the street. You go there, and he is a Nosferatu. He is one of the misshapen vampires.
And he's fun. I think he's the best written character. Well, him and Kirkpatrick are pretty fun. So he was fun to talk to. You don't get a ton of exposition now, but he's after this mission, I talked to him for like half an hour because he was just really interesting.
Yeah, he has a lot to say about the different clans and how they fit into the world. He's really your data dump kind of guy.
Yeah. So he tells you that where to go to plant the explosive. Although he just says the middle office, which is maybe the least clear instructions.
Yeah.
Because what? Middle of what?
Says,
There's a bunch of offices.
Train yard. Go to the middle office.
Mm-hmm.
The train yard is being run by humans who are in the service of the Sabbat.
Mm-hmm.
These humans are what would happen if you got some young white voice actors to portray, perhaps you give them the note, okay, you want to be really urban.
So these humans were reused in another game that we played on the podcast, and that game was called The Quiet Man.
Yeah, yep. The exception being The Quiet Man cast actual people of color to portray these stereotypical people of color. But the dialogue is really terrible. I'm not even going to try to mimic it.
Nope.
YouTube it yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, I tuned it out. I gotta be honest, I was not paying attention.
Watch my Twitch stream. But so now I noticed, like, I look at the quest log because this quest did not have a lot of detail on what you're supposed to do. And the quest log says, try not to kill anyone while you place the explosives. And I failed that aspect, and no one seemed to mind.
Yeah, I wanted to just feed off this guy. He's taken a leak in the urinal.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess because it's a combat zone, you can't just break off feeding and have him be zoned out. You have to drink him all the way.
Oh. I've never tried. You can get interrupted.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I drank basically everyone's blood up until I got to the main factory. And I climbed a train to get up to the rafters. And I thought I was sneaky, like I was crawling around. I was trying to drop down to this access to the second floor offices. And then suddenly everyone saw me and just started shooting at me. And I didn't do anything different or wrong. Everyone suddenly noticed me. And I don't know why.
Yeah, that kept happening to me. And I was really frustrated. So then I I think I looked at a YouTube video, and there's another way in through like a back door if you go all
Right.
the way around. So I did that instead because I wanted to try to do it sneaky style, and I did.
And it took me basically, I would have only killed a couple of people, except that I couldn't. There's a prompt if you're walking through one of the offices in the middle of the floor to drop the bomb, but if you're not looking for it, you won't notice that it shows up.
Right.
There's no like indication of where you need to go or anything. It's
Yeah, it took me at least 30 minutes to figure this
I
out,
actually-
and it's because I left one dude alive
Mm-hmm.
in the train yard, and so it took me wandering around and hearing somebody say, "What was that?" for me to figure out how to do it.
So I haven't been using a guide. I know that one of our listeners sassed me for using guides too much, so I've been playing this without it. But I had to look up which office to go to because the game doesn't tell you. It says the middle office.
John, you got sassed?
sassed.
Whoa.
I got sassed a little bit.
Listeners are sassy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if you want to be sassy to John, email us. We're at squareroospodcast@gmail.com.
That's a great idea.
So you put down the explosives, and then you have the timer starts counting down. But then suddenly, the Sabbat throw real vampires at you.
What? Okay, I did this 100% did not happen for me.
What?
I armed the bomb, went out onto the catwalk, jumped off, left the warehouse, and then I just got the dialogue thing that said the warehouse blew up.
Oh,
Yeah, I think that
And that was
they don't come if you aren't spotted on the way in.
But I definitely because I had the invisible the no target cheat on.
Great.
So nobody saw me, and I just suddenly murdered everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I got super seen, so I had to fight my way through vampires who are much tougher than the
They're ghouls.
low
They're called
income
ghouls. They're not
people.
vampires.
Gangrels.
They weren't ghoul. Were they ghouls? I thought they were actual vampires.
I thought there was like a gangrel and a Sabbat.
I don't know. I had to fight like 2 vampires, and then after that I walked out and I saw a wolf man. I'd seen this wolf a couple of times earlier, like I saw him on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
John, I thought you called him a different name than what was in my
He's a
game.
gangrel named Beckett.
Okay, I thought you called him Rodriguez.
No, that's the other guy.
That's Nines.
Yeah, that's Nines Rodriguez, who you'll...
Oh, so this guy looks like a guy that you would avoid in a coffee shop downtown in your local city.
He looks like he has
has
a
a-
lot to say about like Proust or something.
He has a hard pony. And he wears little square glasses. And he looks like he's going to recite to you the libertarian doctrine. You want to avoid this guy.
Have you
Or
read
do
Atlas
you?
Shrugged?
Do you know what taxation really is?
What do you feel about Bertrand Russell and Simone de Beauvoir? Because I have a lot of things to say about what I've heard thereabout.
I do like this man because the woman on the beach told me to. She is a psychic, and you can persuade her to give you a psychic reading.
Oh,
And,
if only I had persuasion.
Yeah. And I asked her, who can I trust? And she said, the man on the couch and the lone wolf. And I believe this man is the lone wolf.
It's the man on the
and
couch.
the man on the couch is Mercurio.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm guessing.
So this game, everything does not roll up to a larger narrative. Everything is so disjointed. It makes it so hard to care about anything that's going on.
Oh,
Well, I think it's a great narrative because you're new in this world. You don't know what's going on. And then
Vanessa, a great narrative. a great unified narrative.
this is the best game we've ever played for the show. I mean, have you seen the tasteful representation of sex workers?
Oh boy, toots.
boy.
Talking about toots.
Oh, look at those toots.
I decided to pay a toot when I was low on blood once, and She said, take me someplace more comfortable, and I thought, or more private, and I thought, I'll take her back to my shitty apartment. And we made it, 5 steps into the alleyway before she was like, do me now! And I sucked her blood. And I guess, maybe, now, does paying a toot make it so that sucking the blood doesn't get you in trouble? Because I had, multiple people around me, and somehow they just kind of ignored it.
Oh, weird.
Because I accidentally, maybe it was my F key just stopped working for that second, but I sucked on a toot, and I got most of the way through her, and I went to stop it, and I sucked on the toot too much, and the toot died.
Well, if you kill them, yes.
Nothing makes me happier than the term toot.
Really? I'm slightly uncomfortable with it.
Me
I
too.
love
Suck it on the
it dearly. It's the best thing Jim's ever come up with.
Listeners, how do you feel about toots? Right in at squareroots
How do you feel about
podcast@gmail.com.
toots? And that can be toots as we use it. It could be toots that come from your butt.
Or
it could
toots
just be about
from
toots.
Thomas
You
the
can
Tank
just write
Engine.
in how you feel about toots. Maybe you're pro toot. Nothing wrong with sex workers.
Square, guys, square toots.
Oh boy.
No.
I do
Too
suck
hot
on
to be
people.
released.
I suck people all the time in public with their consent,
Whoa.
and no one seems to notice.
With their
because it's-
consent. What?
Well, yeah, because I'm very seductive. So I'm just
Oh.
like, hey, come here. And they're like, okay. And then I do bite them on the neck, but I think it just looks like I'm giving them a very bad hickey.
I tried that in a parking garage, and everyone I thought everyone was far enough away.
We've all done that, John.
And then
We've all been there.
then I got in a lot of trouble because people started screaming.
There's a guy that likes to pee on the side of the asylum in the alley pretty often, and he's a prime target for...
He's super easy to suck on.
There's some cops around the pier too that I like to get my
Suck on.
Yeah, exactly. Latch on to.
No, John, say suck on.
I'm uncomfortable. So
So what are we doing now?
now that's about it. You can take a cab. Basically, you're gonna what's his face? What's his name?
Beckett.
LaCroix?
No, Bertrand. Well, yeah,
LaCroix.
you talk to Beckett, and he's like thinks it's really interesting that I'm coming here at this time because things are gonna get really complicated pretty soon. And he's just
You know what's really frustrating is these NPCs you meet do very little to push the narrative forward because there's no narrative in this game.
You keep saying that. It's this complex world of
There
politics
is no
and relationship.
You drift from one fetch quest to the next fetch quest, and you end up meeting these fucking dime store poets, and it's not. There's no larger thing happening.
Layered. Levels
It's
of
not
intrigue
layered, Vanessa.
and
It's non-existent.
hundreds of years of history behind each character.
Whoa, spooky.
So I talked to Bertram Tong for a bit, got some backstory, and then I take a cab to downtown, which I guess we'll talk about next time on Square Roots.
Downtown.
That's where the lights are bright.
That's where we're going next, and we're all really excited about it. Are there going to be
Good
toots
job,
downtown?
everybody.
Probably.
Tootie toots.
But before we get there, were there any side quests you wanted to talk about, Vanessa?
Oh, yes. I do want to talk about modeling for pay.
What?
We find this bail bondsman.
Oh, yeah.
He's a rotund fellow, would you say, John?
I don't like their chubby guy model. It's not attractive, but yes.
Well, no one in this game is attractive.
That is true. All the prostitutes look like Kirsten Dunst if she was a teenager.
Yes.
With immense breasts.
And they do not have pants.
And the worst thing about these toot models is that they all have the worst tribal tattoos you've ever seen.
Yes.
These are late 90s, early 2000s tribals they have on their shoulders, and they're gross.
This bail bondsman tells us that his bounty hunter, Carson, is that his name? Has been missing, so would like us to find him. He sends us to Carson's apartment, which is in the same fancy building that Mercurio lives in. And we find out that Carson was investigating a nearby tattoo parlor. So we head to the tattoo parlor, and in the basement of the tattoo parlor, we find this flyer that says, like, models wanted.
Yes.
We will pay you to be a limb model.
Right.
For prosthetic limbs. So there's nothing gross about prosthetic limbs, Jim.
Well, no, there's nothing gross about prosthetics or like amputees, but this game makes it feel gross.
Oh, especially yes.
Yeah.
Especially this quest.
Yeah. So we I guess the phone then rings, or we call.
Yeah. That guy's calling.
Yeah.
He's like, the whole time I was there, the phone was ringing.
Yeah. So you answer the phone and he's like, "Hello, is this my model?" And you're like, "Well, no, but I have limbs and I can be a model for you." And he's like, "Oh, great. Just come on by."
Now, he was investigating this other guy. Like, he was on the case trying to find this other guy, and that's what brought him to the tattoo parlor, because he tracked down this guy who's skipping out on bail.
Right. And the bail guy had been modeling.
Yeah. So you head over to the what's this place called? The limb clinic, and he's real happy to let you in. I told him I was a good friend of Carson's, and that's why I answered the phone, because I was looking for Carson.
Yeah.
And he invited me over because he thinks he has some information on finding Carson.
Oh, I just answered the phone and said I would love to be a limb model, and he was like, "Hot dog, come on down."
So he goes to get, like, he said he was going to grab some files to get more information on finding Carson or the other guy. And he never comes back. So I figured he left the door open. Figured that's an invitation to go through.
His waiting room is very nice. The rooms beyond are not as nice.
No, it reminds me a lot of the basement of the house in Detroit Become Human.
Yes.
And it's a bad use of space. I feel like this is an expensive place for that much square footage. Like, his clinic is about 8 times bigger than it needs to be. And he's not using his space well.
Yeah, it's a lot of sort of open warehouse space, and then a few torture rooms.
Yeah. So the rooms get more and more menacing. They're menacing from the start, but by the time you get to the bottom, they're just coated in blood and have weird pictures that have, like, Post-it notes to say "daddy" on them and stuff.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of the word "daddy" in this game.
Yeah, and you get to the bottom, and you see Carson there, and he's like, "Hey, can you help me out here? He's already taken limbs off of my buddy here."
Yeah, Carson's in a cage.
And you agree to help them. The other guy he calls Stumpy, you can check in on him, and he's just lying there with no... It looks like he should be dead, because it doesn't look like his wounds have been stitched up or anything. He's just there with, like, dead space, removed limbs.
Yeah.
Shot off. And the doctor comes charging at you. He's very upset that you are interfering with his work. And he comes at you with a severed arm as a weapon.
Yes, he is wielding a severed arm, which does quite a bit of damage when he beats you with it.
Yeah. So
you guys know what that is?
What?
It's scary.
Well, Jim, do you know how I defeated him?
How?
I disarmed him.
Yay!
Oh, God. That's it for this episode of Square Root. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, everyone.
And that is the end of that quest, pretty much. I also did one getting werewolf blood, which is where Vanessa had oral sex with the security guard.
Yeah.
And I just snuck around him and hacked the computers.
Yeah, I snuck around him, too. Around his trousers.
Oh my.
Oh, right.
So I guess there's no mini games other than the blood sucking. That's the only mini game. That's more of a mechanic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing you need to like it's like refilling your MP.
So next
and HP, I guess.
So where are we playing to next time?
Next time we will play through downtown Los Angeles until we head to Hollywood.
Ooh, Hollywood.
Hollywood City.
See you guys in
something,
Hollywood next time
Hollywood City.
on Square 2.
Not a nice thing to say about Holly.
Hollywood City.
All right, let's do this wrap up. Let's finish this podcast.
What are you guys squarely against?
This game.
I'm squarely against the depiction of women in this game. There's been one woman who did not look like Kirsten Dunst with a boob job, and she worked at the diner, but otherwise all the women look like blow-up dolls, or from that game Messiah.
Mm-hmm.
Vanessa.
I am squarely against the portrayal of mental health in this game. You can choose a class of vampire that is
the Malkavians.
Yeah, Malkavians, who are all unstable in various ways. And
Jeanette and Therese are Malkavian.
Right. And it's very, very much like the late 90s, Batman animated series. Isn't Arkham Asylum fun? Let's all be wacky, crazy people. Joker, haha. That kind of thing.
It's so silly.
It is. Jim, what are you squarely against?
You know what? I'm going to do this squarely against from 15 years ago and say that the music in this game is great. It's really cool how you can use a cheat code to alter the size of the NPC's boobs.
Jim, this isn't your best. I think facing forward to the audience, this might not be your most stellar episode.
This is going to age really good. I promise. No, this game is like kind of really gross, and it makes me feel like gross playing it a little bit. Like every time I would talk to one of the twins and their boobs would jiggle for no reason. When they were standing still and their boobs would just jiggle because they were on screen. It made me feel gross.
I never noticed their boobs once.
John, like it's, well, depending on what you did there, if you speak to the one with the pigtails, every time she would come on screen to do dialogue, her boobs would jiggle.
Oh, I should mention I'm also squarely against. I told the bartender, who was a big guy, I was like, oh, yeah, sorry, I don't drink. And he called me a fruit. I was like,
are you serious?
Yeah. I was a little grumpy about that.
That's weird.
What a
This
jerk.
game sucks.
Anyway.
Anyways, I'm, you know what? Roundly for this game.
I am genuinely enjoying it.
What about you, Matt?
What's to fucking enjoy? It's a broken piece of shit with terrible dialogue and awful music. Everything's ridiculous. I like watching a bad movie as much as the next person, but there's a limit.
I feel like the listeners should know, Matt, like, maybe at, like, noon or 1 today was like, how do I install this game?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so it's fresh in my mind.
Do we have any emails?
Oh,
Really
yeah.
against dying when that fucking warehouse exploded like twice. Like twice.
We have emails?
Because I kept not getting far enough away because I kept getting lost. So I had to turn on God mode for my last run.
I hid in a railway car.
That's what the patch is for.
With the toots.
With the tooties.
The Sworkers.
Yeah,
Tutors.
the Sworkers.
The tutors.
Sworkers.
So, do we have an email, Vanessa?
Yes, here's the email. Hey, y'all. Will we ever get a Star Fox movie? What's a game franchise that you want to get a movie that you think never will? Thanks, Ryan Miller.
Hey, Ryan, thanks.
I would like Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines to get a movie
Jesus.
franchise.
Nobody wants
Nobody
that.
on
You know what
Earth
they did
wants
that, movie? It's called Queen of the Damned, and Korn did the soundtrack.
Such a bad movie.
That movie sucks.
And
Not the
just
best
Toots.
of Aaliyah's work. Game that I think will never get a movie, but I want it to have a movie.
That was not the question.
Oh, what was the question?
A game that you want to get a franchise, but you think will never get a franchise.
Sonic.
What does you mean? What's a franchise?
Like a series of movies.
Oh,
Or games. Series of games.
series of games.
Right?
No,
Is it
it's
games
about
or movies?
movies. It's about
What is a
movies.
game
Oh.
franchise that you would like to see turned into a movie? John.
Oh, okay.
The Street Fight. Oh, Saturday Night Slam Masters. The wrestling fighting game spin-off of Street Fighter with the
John,
biggest
is this
beefy
a-
boys.
Is this a series of game that makes you horny?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think it was a Triple X movie, but answer acceptable. Vanessa.
I already said Vampire the Masquerade Bloodline.
Terrible answer. I thought I'd give you another chance, and you really fucked it up again. Jim.
I really want an Uncharted franchise.
Okay.
Well, you're getting one.
You're
so
getting one.
congratulations.
It's Tom
With
Holland.
not Tom
It looks like it's
Holland.
going to be bad, and that's what you deserve for wanting that in the first
You know what?
place.
Put Chris Pine in that motherfucker. I want Chris Pine in that game.
I
can
wouldn't
in
see
movie.
that.
Damn it. What's wrong with you,
He
Hollywood?
should be in there.
Well, my answer will be predictable and boring. Make me a Zelda movie, please. Thank you.
Any Zelda movie could be like Lord of the Rings level good, but everyone would still hate it.
I'm so glad I don't have to edit this episode.
He does say, "Excuse me, princess," like 15 times in the movie, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing that you don't understand, John, is that when he says, "Excuse me, princess," what he's really saying is, "I love you."
Aw, that's nice.
Aww.
When she realized that, that's when she fell in love. Anyway,
I'm gonna call Matt's mom after this and say, "Excuse me, princess."
Vanessa, did you know that we have a Patreon?
I did. The Patreon is so cool. The Patreon is where listeners who would like to support us in a monetary way have the opportunity to do so. And when they do, we give them bonus content.
Ooh, wait, hold on. Call it bonus content. 'Cause
Okay.
It's October.
One second.
Bonus.
When we give them bonus content.
For $3 a month,
Yay.
you get all them cool episodes, like 20-something bonus episodes.
Like, Would You Eat This Bird? Our best bonus episode ever.
Exactly. Our great looks at Hatoful Boyfriend and Detroit Become Human and The Quiet Man.
The Quiet Man.
Oh,
And
that game
for
sucks.
$8 or $5.
Just
I can't
five.
remember.
Just five.
For $5 a month.
$8 for $30 a month.
For $5 or more. So it could be $8 if you want it to.
Yep, you can put in $30 if you want. You can put, like, when you choose your level that you donate to, you can put in whatever above that. So,
Please don't put more than you can afford. We
Yeah,
are not
but-
trying to findom you.
if you're like a Bill Gates, you want to put
you can afford a whole
$5,000,
bunch.
go nuts.
That's totally fine with us. So for $5, you get all that great bonus content. Plus, you get to vote on which games we will play next.
And we're going to do one more special little sneaky end of the year vote for
a
the
special
last.
little sneak.
Oh, sneak 'em. We got
Yeah.
a little sneaker. We got a little sneaker in there.
Yeah. This game was the runner-up in our last vote, and I
So
refused to live what's it. So we're
What-
playing it.
what's your nominee for the next vote there, Jim?
I want to play what's the Saga game we talked about? Not
Oh
Romancing
no, that's
Saga.
too long.
Saga Frontier.
Is that long? That one's
That's
shorter.
a shorto.
Okay, Vanessa.
Saga Frontier.
Pokemon.
Okay, I think that's Matthew's choice.
Pokemon's not a
Oh no, Matthew's
You know
choice
what?
was
If we
Diablo.
play Pokemon,
big
I'm gonna
and
fucking yell about
small.
it the whole time. That's not a game.
Matthew said Diablo, but I don't know if we should play a Blizzard game right now in this current political climate.
Ooh, that might be
That's a
controversial.
good
Yeah.
point, John. Good point.
I'd like to play Deus Ex, but I wonder if it's too close to Vampire.
I want to do Yakuza.
You know what? I think I like that it's canon that Vanessa always picks the kind of problematic cyberpunk games, or like. And you know what? She only picks the Western games, and the Western games are the ones that are the most problematic.
I think you're right. Well, one other thing we do.
I think I'm going to pick a Tales game so that we can do another one next year.
Like Sonic and Tails?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like Sonic and Tools.
Miles Prowler. So,
this is the worst episode we've ever done.
Yeah, I was going to say,
It's
I don't
going
know
to
if
be like
anyone
4 hours
wants to
long. We live here now.
give us money after this episode, but you know, if you've listened to this episode and yet still somehow want to give us money, that would be amazing. But if not, I understand. So
send us the money to squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. No, I'm just kidding. We have a patreon.com/squarerootspodcast.
all right. So one other thing we like to do is give a shout out to all our patrons. So Jim, get us started.
Let me pull it up here. Excuse me for one moment. Got it. Okay. Armin Hammer, Hudson Roth, Andy Smith, Sean Arata, Lex Averial, The Real The Scofflaws, Amanda Douglas, Christian Go, The Mighty Monarch, Chris Ryan, Kevin Walter, Matthew Casterline, Adam Zimmerman, Pumpkins, but you're an adult, Dustin, Modabode, Paul Bursch, Gremios Beat by Beat Death Narration.
Good job.
Jimmy, Alex Dullard, which John still mispronounces despite the clear instructions. Cake Ninja, Reddit _is_Harold_Lauder, Wash in the Wind, Andy M, Jordan O'Boyle, G Knopford, George Brady, Michael Crawford, Vanessa's fourth mom, Jameson, John Kissick, Just Jerry, Mary Queen of Scoffs. By the way, Mary Queen of Scoffs, always my favorite.
The Red Right Eye, DJ Ethro, Stephen Crow,
John.
Ron Squared, Sean Gonzalez, Jason, Jared Collins, fine, say everyone's name, at least it annoys Matt, T. Bumpkins, Moose the Chick-U Star, Andy Best, G. Bailey, Citrus C is feeling A-OK, Zachary Davis, David Shook, Chris Penyak, PJ Enns, Huxley Iguana, Benjamin Avner, Galendo, Sean Walsh, Brady A. Berman, Florian Jonas Kramer, Bobby Midkiff is on strike, The Misadventures of Mike Gundy's Mullet, Jonathan Lee,
Gregory, Julia Zanella, Eric Garby, Vampire the Musky Rat, my mom, James Hostetler, Jake Dickerson, David Green, Let's Get Spoopy. Julian Titus's spirit has finally found peace. Nathan Poirot, Randy Pierce, Megan Sullivan, Jonathan Ellsworth, Patrick W. Bears, Cowman Mosser, Samu Mitchell, No Gods, No Masters, Brian Stone, Aaron Bachman, Wonder Swan, Robert M. Pullum, Miguel Torres, Tracy Tanoff, Race Jenkins, Cameron Show,
Rusty Kamada, Cyril the Wolf, Vanessa's People Mom, Robert T., Tom, Ross Hartley, Tyler Petty, Justin Ham, Bree Girth, Devin Sloan, Dr. Steve Stone, more games with evil playthroughs. We're working on it. Brian Pitt, Ward Childress, Matt Jorgensen, Vanessa's real mom, not here anymore. Stu Steele, Hearsay everywhere. The 109th star. Oh, you're right. Heresy everywhere. The 109th star is under the truck near the SS Anne. Stephen Paget and Corroded Com.
It seems like Corroded Commode Bode got split into two.
Corroded Com. That's what it means.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Maybe.
Hey, everybody. That's it for this episode of Square Roots. If you would like to reach out to us directly, you can do so at squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come interact with us at our Facebook page, the Square Roots Podcast group for smart, cool, very attractive people. Or you can tweet at us. We are at Square Roots Pod.
Thanks to Katja Savia for letting us use her cover of Isolated from the Vampire the Masquerade soundtrack. You can find Katja on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram as Katja Savia, one word, and on Facebook as Katja Savia j.modernnoir. Links are in the show notes, because Katja has a J. Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts.
For Square Roots, I've been your special vampiric host, Vanessa, aka, what did I say I was? Epiphany Shade? Ebenezer Shade? I don't remember. It's pretty late now. Eponia Shade. Mistress of Seduction. Daughter of the Night.
Did she vanish?
All right, everybody, that's it. That's it for this episode of Square Roots. I'm Jim Banks, sucking on the toots.
I'm
that's great.
You Vamp Zandt.
Have at you! I am John Brandon, a miserable pile of secrets.
And we'll just have to assume that there's an I'm Vanessa in there somewhere.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
I'm Vanessa.
I'll never crawl again. I'll never fall again until I'm free. Here I stand in this room, caged and trapped inside. Seems I'm damned to live a lie. Unaware of what's outside. Should I care for what's left me behind?
And I stare at light that makes me blind. Internally, there's nothing left for me to be. I'm here alone and isolated. Have no choice but be isolated. Struggling, left alone, apart. Pushed aside, made segregated. Struggling, left alone, apart. Have no choice but be isolated. Threatened, forced to extract the heart. Pushed aside, made segregated. Have no choice but be. The monsters make me hide. Perhaps I'll eat myself alive. Internally, what is there left for me to be? Can't care for what's left me behind. And I stare at light that makes me blind. These broken walls trap me inside and isolated. Have no choice but be isolated. Struggling, left alone, apart. Pushed aside, made segregated. Struggling, left alone, apart. Have no choice but be isolated. Struggling, left alone, apart. Pushed aside, made segregated. Have no choice but be